So this is a crazy, crazy thing. And it is something that a lot of people have said, a lot of people have noticed, and now there's like official rankings on it. And it is the fact, it's just showing it officially, we can see how much the WNBA is growing.
Have you ever wondered what's really driving the WNBA's sudden rise in popularity? While some players and fans have been working hard to bring attention to the league, one name stands out as the game changer, Caitlin Clark, but not everyone is thrilled about it.
The fastest growing brands are ranked by measuring growth in share of consumers who say they would consider purchasing a brand over the course of the year. Obviously, we've seen this before. We saw this in the, ironically enough, the article where we saw this. People were saying the actual reason is because, the old WNBA fans have really helped improve the way the leagues looked. And it's like, no, it's literally the rookies.
In fact, some woke players and critics are furious, claiming Clark is overshadowing their contributions. Is it fair, or is it just jealousy? Today we're breaking down how Caitlin Clark's star power is transforming the WNBA and why it's ruffling so many feathers.
Women's college basketball, it's the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson effect, that people were fans of these people through college all the way, and then they come to the league, and it's like they're building their audience in the NCAA and they're carrying them to the WNBA. That's what's happening. That's ironically something that hasn't really happened in the NBA. These players are building their audience through high school, and that's about it.
Caitlin Clark has become a name synonymous with excellence in women's basketball, and her impact on the WNBA is undeniable, starting with her exceptional college basketball career at Iowa. Clark established herself as one of the most exciting players to watch. Her ability to score from anywhere on the court, her precise passing, and her competitive spirit captivated fans across the nation. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was putting on a show every time she stepped onto the court. This electrifying style of play attracted a massive following, and many of those fans have followed her into the WNBA.
But it is very interesting seeing WNBA at number one. And again, look, it is the Caitlin Clark effect. That's the reality of the situation.
When you look at the growth of the WNBA, it's impossible to ignore the role Clark has played. The league has struggled for years to grow its fan base, often overshadowed by the NBA and other major sports leagues. But in 2023, something changed. The WNBA started gaining momentum with more media coverage, increased viewership, and rising merchandise sales. While there are multiple factors contributing to this growth, analysts agree that Clark's presence has been a major catalyst.
The fact is that if Caitlin Clark stays in Iowa, this is not, they're not top 10. And that's what people don't realize, where it's like, Caitlin Clark can bring, all these players do help the growth of the WNBA. To say they haven't helped is just factually incorrect. Because every single player that brings in any amount of fans has helped the growth of the league.
One of the most fascinating aspects of Clark's rise is how she built her audience. Before even joining the WNBA, during her college years, she became a household name by consistently delivering jaw-dropping performances in high-stakes games. Her 40-0 triple-doubles and clutch moments in the NCAA tournament made her a fan favorite. She didn't just bring excitement to the game, she brought new fans who had never paid attention to women's basketball before. When she entered the WNBA, those fans transition with her, boosting the league's visibility. Clark's impact goes beyond just statistics and viewership numbers. She has become a cultural icon. Her highlight reels circulate widely on social media, drawing millions of views. Her jersey sales are through the roof, and she's one of the most marketable athletes in women's sports today. Brands are eager to partner with her, and her image is helping reshape the perception of women's basketball as a whole. Critics might argue that it's unfair to attribute the WNBA's success to a single player. After all, the league is full of talented athletes who have worked hard to elevate the game. However, it's important to recognize that every sport needs its superstars, those rare players who can draw attention and elevate the entire league. In the NBA, players like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Stephen Curry have played this role in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is stepping into that spotlight. Her influence isn't just limited to the US either. International fans are tuning in to watch her games, further expanding the WNBA's reach. For a league that has been striving to go global, this is a golden opportunity. Clark is proving that one player's charisma and skill can spark a movement, bringing more eyes to the sport and inspiring the next generation of athletes. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and it's transforming the WNBA in ways that were once thought impossible. As she continues to grow her career, the league will undoubtedly reap the benefits of her start, and the question now is how the WNBA can build on this momentum to ensure long-term growth and sustainability. The rise of Caitlin Clark in the WNBA has not only brought excitement and new fans, but has also stirred some frustration among certain WNBA players and loyalists. The anger stems from a perception that the league's growth is being overly credited to one person, overshadowing the efforts of other players who have contributed for years. Many of these players believe they've been instrumental in building the league from the ground up, and that their contributions are being overlooked in favor of a rookie effect. One major source of resentment is the way media and marketing focus heavily on Caitlin Clark, sidelining other top players who have also been performing at an elite level. Veterans of the league such as R. Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Diana Taurasi have been the face of women's basketball for years. These players have consistently delivered incredible performances, and their efforts to grow the sport shouldn't be underestimated. Yet with Clark's arrival, much of the spotlight has shifted to her, creating an imbalance in how the league and its stars are portrayed. Another issue is the argument that the WNBA's success is being labeled as the Caitlin Clark effect rather than a culmination of years of hard work from players, coaches, and league management. Players who have spent years promoting the league, participating in community events, and pushing for better conditions feel frustrated that one player's popularity seems to outweigh the collective effort. This narrative can make it seem like the league had no growth or momentum before Clark's arrival, which is simply not true. Some players also feel that Clark's college success has given her an unfair advantage in the marketing department. Unlike many WNBA stars who spent years building their careers within the league, Clark entered with a pre-established fan base from her time in the NCAA. Her college performances, particularly her rivalry games and NCAA tournament heroics, captured national attention. As a result, she came into the WNBA with a level of visibility that most players could only dream of. While this is no fault of Clark's, it creates an uneven playing field where other players' contributions seem to pale in comparison. There's also a cultural divide within the league that fuels some of this tension. Caitlin Clark, as a young white star, has drawn comparisons to NBA legends like Larry Bird, a narrative that resonates with certain fan demographics but alienates others. Meanwhile, players like Angel Reese and A.A. Wilson have had to navigate their paths while facing racial and cultural stereotypes, which adds another layer to the resentment. For some players, the focus on Clark feels like a dismissal of the challenges they've faced in gaining recognition. Lastly, the league's rapid growth has created pressure to cater to the new fan base. Clark has brought in some longtime WNBA players and fans feel like the league is compromising its identity to appeal to casual viewers who are more interested in Clark's highlight reels than the sport itself. They worry that the league's marketing strategy will lean too heavily on one player, risking burnout or diminishing interest once her novelty wears off. While much of the anger is understandable, it's worth noting that Clark herself hasn't sought to overshadow anyone. She's simply playing her game and excelling at it. The challenge for the WNBA is to find a way to balance the attention she brings with the recognition that all its players deserve. As the league continues to grow, addressing these concerns will be crucial to maintaining unity and ensuring long-term success. Caitlin Clark's popularity has created a ripple effect throughout the WNBA, fundamentally altering its public perception and growth trajectory. Her remarkable journey from NCAA basketball to the professional stage has captured the attention of millions, drawing a fresh audience to women's basketball and redefining its marketability. This chapter examines how Clark's rise has reshaped the WNBA landscape both on and off the court. A boost in viewership and revenue. The most immediate and noticeable impact of Caitlin Clark's fame has been the spike in viewership. Her loyal college fan base followed her to the professional level, creating a significant boost in the WNBA's audience. Games featuring Clark often experience higher ratings, and her presence has led to increased ticket sales, merchandise purchases, and social media engagement. This surge in popularity isn't limited to her team alone. Fans tuning in for Clark are exposed to the entire league, which benefit all players. Sponsors and advertisers have also taken notice. Brands recognize Clark's ability to draw attention, and her marketability has led to lucrative endorsement deals that enhance the league's visibility. Companies like Nike, Gatorade, and others see her as the face of a new era in women's sports, and this attention drives more funding into the WNBA. The league in turn gains resources to invest in better facilities, marketing campaigns, and player development. Clark's breakout performances have prompted major media outlets to cover the WNBA more extensively. Highlight reels of her incredible shooting range and playmaking abilities dominate sports news, bringing the league into conversations that traditionally focused on men's sports. This increased coverage not only showcases Clark's talent but also puts a spotlight on her teammates and opponents, giving more exposure to the depth of talent in the WNBA, changing the demographics of fans. One of the most interesting effects of Clark's rise is a shift in fan demographics. Historically, the WNBA's fan base consisted of a niche group of loyal followers. However, Clark has drawn in younger fans, casual viewers, and even those who previously didn't follow women's basketball. Her appeal transcends traditional boundaries, making the WNBA more accessible and relatable to a broader audience. This change has also been reflected on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok are filled with clips of Clark's highlights, memes about her rivalries, and debates about her impact. These discussions create a buzz that keeps the WNBA in the spotlight, ensuring that its growth isn't just a short-term trend but a sustained movement. While the impact of Caitlin Clark's popularity has been overwhelmingly positive, it has also brought challenges internally. Some players feel that the focus on Clark overshadows their contributions, leading to the tension discussed in Chapter 2. Externally, critics argue that the WNBA's growth should not hinge on a single player and worry about sustainability if the league relies too heavily on Clark's star power. However, Clark's success could pave the way for the next generation of players to benefit from the foundation she's building by attracting new fans and resources. She is creating opportunities for future athletes to thrive in a more stable and recognized league. The long-term impact of Caitlin Clark's popularity will depend on how the WNBA capitalizes on the momentum she has generated. If the league can use her influence to promote other stars, build rivalries, and enhance its overall product, the growth sparked by Clark could become a turning point in women's sports history. Rivalries have always been a key ingredient in sports, creating drama and drawing in audiences. The WNBA is no exception, and Caitlin Clark's entry into the league has intensified some pre-existing rivalries while sparking new ones. These rivalries are not just entertaining but also crucial for the league's growth as they generate attention and keep fans engaged. One of the most talked about rivalries is between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Their clashes during their NCAA days were unforgettable, with both players showcasing immense talent and competitive spirit. When these two transitioned to the WNBA, the anticipation for their face-offs grew even more intense. Fans of both players eagerly watch their games, and social media lights up with debates and highlights whenever they meet on the court. This rivalry is especially compelling because it represents more than just basketball. It highlights the different styles, personalities, and approaches that players bring to the game. Clark is often celebrated for her sharp shooting and court vision, while Reese is known for her defensive prowess and physicality. Their contrasting play styles make their matchups must-watch events, drawing both hardcore basketball fans and casual viewers. The media plays a significant role in amplifying rivalries. Sports networks and commentators frequently highlight Clark and Reese's history, adding layers of narrative to their games. Even before tip-off, fans are reminded of their previous encounters, creating a buzz that fuels ticket sales and viewership. This media attention doesn't just focus on the players but also elevates the WNBA as a whole, bringing more attention to the league. Social media further amplifies these rivalries. Fans create memes, debates, and highlight reels that keep the conversation going long after the game ends. Platforms like Twitter and TikTok become battlegrounds where supporters of each player passionately defend their favorites. This level of engagement ensures that the WNBA stays relevant in the crowded sports landscape. While Clark and Reese's rivalry garners the most attention, other players are stepping up to create compelling storylines. For instance, Clark's matchups with players like Sabrina Ionescu or A.A. Wilson have the potential to develop into new rivalries that keep fans invested. These budding rivalries show that the WNBA isn't a one-player league. It's filled with talent that can create exciting moments. Additionally, team rivalries are also taking shape as more players like Clark bring their college fan bases to the WNBA. The league is seeing an increase in team loyalty. Fans who follow Clark at Iowa are now supporting her professional team, creating a dynamic where rivalries extend beyond individual players to entire franchises. The Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson effect. Many analysts compare the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry to the iconic Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson rivalry in the NBA. Just as Bird and Magic's battles elevated the NBA in the 1980s, Clark and Reese's clashes could do the same for the WNBA. Both rivalries are rooted in college basketball, where fans first became invested in the players and carry that interest into the professional leagues. This comparison underscores the importance of rivalries in driving a league's growth. They provide a narrative that goes